Wow. Hello, this is Russell Preston Brown from Adobe. And in this tutorial, I'm going to be talking about 360 photography, and I'm going to be creating this tiny planet image you see here. I'm going to capture my images with a Ricoh Theta Z1. I'm then going to process the DNG dual fisheye images, then turn them into an equirectangular image, then finally wrap this around so I create this tiny planet image. Wow! This process can all be done now on an iPad. I'm going to use these 4 applications in this tutorial to demonstrate this workflow. The first one is, of course, Lightroom. That's where I'm going to start my project. Here in Lightroom, I can plug the Ricoh Theta Z1 directly into my iPad. Check this out. I can then download the DNG and JPEG images directly into an album that I've set up here in Adobe Lightroom on my iPad. This is a new technique that you definitely need to try. Once they're in my album, I can tap on one of them and start to edit it. Now this image has already been edited. Now check this out. This is the image before editing. Wow! I have dramatically underexposed this scene so I can get my best results. Check this out. Here is the application that controls the Ricoh Theta Z1. Check down here. I have set my exposure compensation to a -1 to really make it dark. I knew if I underexposed this scene dramatically, I could hold the detail in the clouds. I was not worried about opening up the shadows because I knew Lightroom could handle that. Check this out. Here, of course, is the original dual fisheye DNG capture. And here are my adjustments. Over here you can see that I've opened up the shadows all the way, and I've brought the highlights all the way down. And I've adjusted the exposure. It's a delicate balance between exposure, highlights, and shadows. Now there is an HDR feature available with the Ricoh Theta Z1, but I like this technique and I think you should try it as well. Now, check this out. Here's some other settings. Under color, I've increased the vibrance. Under effects, just a little bit of dehaze to sharpen up the midtones. Then down here, under detail, I've gone in and sharpened the image. I've selected masking so it targets only on the details. And I've selected for noise reduction right here. Let's zoom back out. This is looking great. One of the final adjustments is here. I'm going to remove the chromatic aberration right there. This looks fantastic. I now can export my image over to Adobe Photoshop. By tapping up here in the upper right hand corner, I can select to open in right here. It then renders the image, and it allows me to select this icon right here for more. Once you've selected that, you can go here to copy to Photoshop. I like this technique because it does not need to save it to the iPad's gallery. It can go directly into Photoshop. And here it is. Now in Photoshop, I'm going to make some adjustments using some of the Photoshop tools here on the iPad. First, I want to do some color correction to the sky. I notice some red discoloration to the sky right over here. I want to remove that by first creating a new layer right here. Then over here, I'm going to set the blend mode for that layer here to color. Then I'm going to select my brush tool. If I select on the color swatch right here, I can then select a color that I want to paint with. Selecting the eyedropper, then I can select the color directly from the image, and I want to select right here. This is the neutral value of the clouds that I want to have across the entire image. Tapping on this, I can then select the paintbrush tool and paint into this discolored region here on the left-hand side. I can repair that here with a soft, round brush. I'll continue to paint across my entire sky until it all has that really nice neutral value. Go all the way to the edge, because remember, these two dual fisheye images will be merged together. So be sure and use this brush tool inside this fisheye region, and you can go outside the edge as well. Let's zoom back out. This looks great. Next, I want to remove the antenna right over here. I'm going to use the healing brush tool. Selecting the healing brush tool here, I can select sample all layers by tapping on these three dots right here. I also want to adjust the hardness of the brush. I find that a hard edge brush works better than a soft edge brush for the healing brush tool. Now you know. And finally, my brush size, a nice small size. Then I'm going to paint across the image, and then it heals that area. Cool. Zoom back out. This is looking great. I'm now ready to export this image and stitch it together. I'm going to go up here to the upper right-hand corner and publish and export. I'm going to select JPEG, my maximum quality, and select export. I'm going to save it to my device right there. It exports it, and now I can finish this off by using the Z1 Stitcher. This is an application available on the Apple Store. If I select this application, I can then tap here in the center, right here, and open up the image I just exported from Photoshop, right here. It then automatically stitches the two dual fisheye images together. Amazing. Now there's one little detail we need to adjust. Notice the horizon isn't quite straight. There's some great capabilities in this application that will allow you to correct this crooked horizon. The first one I'm going to use is right here, this tool. I'm going to rotate it with this tool. Then I'm going to use additional adjustments here with this tool to align it with even more accuracy. Now, here from the lower left-hand corner, we're going to export the image. It saves it to the iPad. Then we'll finish this all off by creating our tiny planet by selecting the Theta Plus application. Once again, you can download this from the Apple Application Store. Tapping that, I can then load this image right here that I just created. I'm going to edit the still image. And this is what it looks like. Down here, we tap on this icon to edit the image. Then right here, I'm going to select this little planet icon. Here, I can then directly interact with the image by tapping and dragging on the image to adjust it to just the position I want. This looks great. I can select the checkbox and then export the image down here in the lower left and save it to my camera roll. And I usually choose the highest resolution and confirm. So there you have it. I've taken you through a mobile workflow here with this 360 Tiny Planet project where I've photographed here in Milford Sound in New Zealand. Give these techniques a try when you use your 360 camera to create tiny planets on mobile devices. Give these techniques a try.